Chad Daybell finds out when his trial date is set. Will Lori Vallow be joining him? Ethan Chapin's mother speaks for the first time. What do I keep saying about these predators trying to get to your children? I will explain once again. A murder for hire that turns out like they usually do. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is CrimeTalk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment, and hit that little bell for notifications. And remember, you can listen to us anytime on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Now, let's support the people that support CrimeTalk.
As a pet owner, you want to give your furry friend the very best. That's why Baked in Colorado's CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect choice. These delicious treats not only taste great, but they also provide a wide range of health benefits for your pet. CBD has been shown to have many positive effects on dogs, including reducing anxiety, alleviating pain and inflammation, and improving overall wellness. Baked in Colorado's treats are infused with premium, full-spectrum CBD oil, meaning your pet will benefit from the whole plant extract. Not only that, but Baked in Colorado's treats are made with all-natural human-grade ingredients, so you can feel good about what you're giving your pet. They're also free from wheat, corn, and soy, making them a great option for dogs with food sensitivities. Baked in Colorado CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect way to support your pet's health and well-being. With various flavors, including peanut butter, pumpkin, and bacon, your dog will love them too. So why wait? Head to www.bakedincolorado.com today and order your dog a bag of these delicious and nutritious treats. Your pet will thank you for it.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the docket for June 5th, 2023. So please open the record. First, Chad Daybell receives a new trial date. As you can recall, Chad Daybell was first joined with Lori Vallow for their trial. And then, guess what happened? They got severed. Why? Because Chad Daybell wanted a continuance. Why? Because the district attorney kept producing more and more discovery. Lori Vallow said, hey, there was a discovery cutoff date and we're ready to go and I'm not waiving speedy trial. So the judge severed their trials. Lori Vallow obviously went to trial and was convicted of all counts. The defense has asked for a new trial based upon some juror misconduct issues, some jury instruction issues, and the fact that, well, the prosecution really messed up the whole charging dates and the statute as it relates to the indictment. So what do we know about Chad Daybell? Well, it looks like he's going to trial on April 1st. That's right. April Fool's Day, 2024, Chad Daybell will finally be going to trial. It's set to go through the entire month of April and May. 2 months, ladies and gentlemen. Now you have to remember, Lori Vallow's trial took 4 weeks, and we didn't even have the sentencing phase as it relates to the death penalty because that was taken off the table by Judge Boyce because the prosecution blundered that whole process. Anyway, this trial will be in front of Judge Boyce once again, and the parties must comply with the court's pre-trial order. Prosecution, let's go ahead and jot down these dates. We're trying to help you. There's a final pretrial conference set on February 22nd, 2024. And the district attorney, please note, please make the following deadline, discovery deadlines. Police reports, that's what the discovery is. Police reports, results of interview, and anything that the prosecution has to turn over pursuant to statute and case law, affectionately known as Giglio or Brady material. So that deadline is February 1st, 2024. And as I noted, the court dismissed the death penalty punishment phase for Lori Vallow as a sanction because the prosecution kept turning over discovery late. And the prosecution had been in possession of that information for years. Yeah, that's a problem. So, prosecutor, make sure you get all that discovery. You've had 3 years now. It should be all inventoried, ready to go, so there's no issues in the Chad Daybell case on April 1st of 2024. Juror questionnaires, another thing that the prosecution turned over late. Well, those are due January 5th. And jury instructions are due by the close of business on March 11th, 2024. Practice pointer here for the prosecution. Now that you know that you want to proceed under a different subsection of the statute that you charged in the indictment, as you did in the Lori Vallow case, now may be the time to make that amendment. Just saying. Now you do you, prosecutors. But most of the world didn't think it was a big issue, but for those that kind of know what was going on, it was a huge mistake. Even Judge Boyce was upset and disappointed that the prosecution didn't have their act together. And as you have noted, and we did a show about this, is that the defense kept saying, this doesn't make any sense. Are you sure you're not charging it under another statute? And the prosecution said, we know what we're doing. Apparently, maybe not. Yeah, you got the conviction, but you got dead babies. You're going to get the conviction. Let's face it. Let's admit it. You got dead kids. It's a tough battle for any defendant. And then throw on a wife of somebody, of your new husband. Yeah, doesn't look good. And you throw in all the 404B evidence. Yeah, it's not good for Lori Vallow. But go ahead and prosecutor. Let's get this right. If you're going to amend and you're not sure, you better charge. Supersede that indictment now. Like I said, a lot of people didn't think anything of it. I saw a lot of information. Nobody thought, they just amended the date. No big deal. That's a huge deal, ladies and gentlemen. And only in Idaho, apparently, can you amend an indictment by a stroke of the pen. We're not talking a little, we forgot, we misspelled a typo. We misspelled a perfunctory word in the indictment. No, you charged the wrong subsection of the statute. Only in Idaho can you make that amendment. You have to go in federal court in any state that I've ever practiced in. You have to go and amend the entire indictment. They almost could have caused the case to be thrown out, to get not guilties, ladies and gentlemen, because the prosecution blundered it. Let's just say it. Hey, congratulations, they won. But it wasn't for the amount of incompetence that they've shown throughout this entire process. Because, like I said, we talked about the motion for new trial. That included the juror misconduct allegations that he may have viewed some information. I don't think that's going anywhere. What's more interesting is the fact that he made statements and then he said, I watched a news thing later on. I get that. But guess what? You didn't qualify that in the first interview. And the defense, I don't think it's going to get much hay, but it just shows you, jurors, you don't need your 15 minutes of fame. Just move along. Just saying. The other issue was that the law was incorrectly stated, and then obviously the amendment to the indictment that I think they should do. Now, there's been no ruling on any of those issues yet, but obviously if the court were to grant a new trial, Lori Vallow could join then Chad Daybell for that trial, and it would be as if the whole trial didn't start again. The question is, does Judge Boyce want to do a safe thing or just let it ride, so to speak? The easy thing would be for the judge to say, I'm going to stand by all my decisions. I was correct. And if there was error that was made, guess what? It gets reversed on appeal in probably 3 to 5 years. Or he grants a new trial and they do it all over again. And Lori and Chad get to sit there together and, hear all the evidence against them. And then it can be absolutely clear who the conspiracy was between. Obviously, Alex Cox, Lori Vallow, and Chad Daybell. And if the prosecution thinks others were involved, they should probably name them as well. We'll see. I don't think the judge is going to give her a new trial, but now at least we know Chad Daybell will be going to trial in April 1st. Set your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. Prosecutors, docket it. Get it all on your calendar. Make those changes to the indictment if you need to now. Next on the docket, Bryan Kohberger. Some newly released court orders, basically orders sealing returns on subpoenas, have shown that the police have sought more information about what Bryan Kohberger was doing online before he allegedly murdered, obviously, the 4 University of Idaho State students last year. Police issued and received information back on search warrants related to Reddit, TikTok, Google, Snapchat, and AT&T, which are the most recent returns on the subpoenas. Those would be the most recent returns on search warrants. Now, police had previously obtained data from Mr. Kohberger's Reddit account in the spring, including his private messages, location data files, and images. Now, Mr. Kohberger's arrest affidavit referenced a Reddit survey that he allegedly posted to better understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decisions when committing a crime. Now, the record also reveals that investigators obtained information from Strava, an online service that enables users to track physical exercise activities and share that information with others. That could be potentially interesting because if someone was wearing or using that information at the time that these alleged murders took place, it would show if they were, engaging in a struggle. Their heart rate was going up. Could be interesting. We've seen that before in cases. And obviously, there was data from 4 victims' Snapchat accounts, including the messages and stories were also gathered. So the question is, why do they need to search these records? Well, we know they have the search warrants of Brian Kohberger's phone as to what he was using. So then the police have been kind of rummaging through, yes, that's a term of art, rummaging through his phone, only for obviously the limited dates and time of the search warrant, because otherwise that would be illegal. So then they find these other records that may exist. So then they go and get the subpoenas or the search warrants for these records. And that's basically down the road so that they can bring a representative from those companies to say these are records maintained in the course of regularly conducted business and that they are accurate as to their date and times. And so really what it is for making this all admissible during court. Because you just can't show up and say, hey, we found these records on his phone and introduce them. You have to lay the appropriate foundation as to the business record. This is the company, and this person that's going to testify is familiar with the operations of that company and how they store and collect data, and that it is accurate at the time that it was collected and stored by the company. So this is, like I said, for the official investigation, but it's also these records to be admitted at trial. That is the significance of that. Now, the mother of Ethan Chapin, obviously one of the slain University of Idaho students, said that she does not plan to attend Mr. Kohberger's trial. She said it does not change the outcome of our family and its energy that we will need to put into healing our kids and getting back a new family dynamic. Stacy Chapin said on a television interview today that she spoke out for the first time since her son Ethan's death on November 13th. She said, we let the prosecutors do their job, and we're going to do our job in our family. Now, Ms. Chapin spoke of how her family is trying to heal from this tragedy while trying to keep Ethan's memory alive. She showed off her new tattoo saying, I love you, Mom, in Ethan's handwriting, and spoke about a children's book that she wrote about her son, which said is the best I can do for my son. The book, titled The Boy Who Wore Blue, centers around an unnamed main character based on Ethan, who wore blue as a baby to separate him from his twin siblings, Hunter and Maisie, who also attend the University of Idaho. The character was born in October, loved playing sports, and worked at a tulip farm as a young adult. It literally just came to her in the middle of the night, she said, as to why she wanted to write this book. And she said it's the writing process was like a country artist who goes through a breakup and writes their greatest hits. It's been somewhat therapeutic for her. She also said that she and her husband, Jim, had been overwhelmed with the outpouring of support from people who met Ethan, many of whom will often stop the family to tell the story of how he touched their lives in some ways. So the prosecutors have until July to give notice if they intend to seek the death penalty for Mr. Kohberger. And the death penalty in Idaho now includes a firing squad. You got to admit that. Kind of quick, kind of short, not the drama of all the lethal injection stuff. You can't get the drugs to. If you're going to do it, I just want, somebody that's up for the death penalty, kind of like the guy that blew up the Timothy McVeigh. He was convicted of blowing up the Murray building in Oklahoma. He was kind of like, bring it on. Let's do this. You got to admire somebody that's like, I'm just not going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Let's do it. Now, obviously the Chapins are not focusing on the court proceedings, but Sharon Gray, the Gonzalez family attorney, said that they have spoken with the prosecutor, Mr. Thompson, and he's going to meet with all the families individually and then make that decision as to whether they're going to seek the death penalty. The Gonzalez family obviously supports the death penalty. As they've stated, they want Mr. Kohberger, if he's convicted after receiving his due process, to die. And obviously several families have also filed legal documents suggesting that they would sue the city of Moscow for damages, according to notices filed with the city dated May 3rd and May 11th. And Mr. Kohberger remains locked up at the Latah County Jail, and where he apparently spends a lot of time obsessing over TV coverage of his case and has found God. He apparently meets with his local pastor every Sunday, once again proving the point that jails and prisons are the holiest places on earth. Just saying, maybe if people found a little bit of God or something like that before they went to prison, maybe they wouldn't find themselves there. Just saying. A couple simple rules to live by. That's all I'm saying. All right. What do I keep saying about people out there trying to get to your children? That's right. They go where the children are. Let me give you another example, right? There are dangerous predators out there, ladies and gentlemen. Take it from a criminal defense attorney. There are people out there that are grooming your children because they want to cause harm to them. And usually they do that because they want to satisfy their own sexual pleasures and desires. Let's just call it for what it is. Well, 7 men, including a school superintendent, were caught looking for sex with teenagers. Unfortunately for them, good for the rest of us, their targets turned out to be undercover agents in a sting operation down there in Harris County, down in Texas. Now, one of the defendants possessed 60 pairs of used girls' underwear. I'm not making this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, there are sickos out there. But this is the guy that takes the cake in this little raid. Meet Michael Stevens. Look at this specimen of a human being. Sure, we could all lose a couple of pounds, but really, you think this guy is what every 15-year-old girl is looking for her first experience? I don't think so. Take a look at this guy. And what's even more disturbing is he's the superintendent of the Itasca Independent School District in Hill County, Texas. And what's even scarier is this guy is a longtime educator who's been around children his entire career. He was a coach, probably walking in on them taking showers, a principal, an assistant principal in various school districts around the state. Now, going on a limb here, but my guess is that now that everybody knows that this guy is accused of certain things, people will come forward and say, oh, remember that one incident where, with just weird, creepy stuff? That's right. Anyway, you know where I'm going with this. Authorities claim that Mr. Stevens communicated through social media with someone he believed to be a 15-year-old girl. He sent some lewd photos. Yep, if you took a look at him, you'd say those were lewd photos, but guess what? There's more. He sent pictures of his private parts and asked for nude videos and pictures in return. He also indicated that he was taking these photos in his office as superintendent of the school district. He'd also stated in the exchange that he planned to go to Houston to meet this young lady and do things to her. I wonder what he was going to do to that 15-year-old. Thank goodness it turned out to be a police officer. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen. This is a nice segue, though, don't you think? Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. Do a background search on anyone in the United States. Yes, you have to sign up for a subscription, but you can keep it as long as you want. Cancel at any time. But when you do sign up for that subscription, you're going to be happy that you did, because you're going to be able to get information as to whether somebody has a criminal history. Have they been telling you the truth? Do things add up as to who they are, what they've done in their life? Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. You'll be happy you did. And yes, we're not saying that everybody that works around kids or coaches kids is a pervert. We're not saying that. But doesn't it just make you think that Isn't it weird that all these weirdos just happen to be around the children? Why? Because that's where the children are, right? Come on. Let's use your common sense, ladies and gentlemen. I got kids. Love my kids. But for the most part, don't want to hang out with other people's kids, right? Like at school, all that stuff, not gonna happen. It's just the way it is. And if some guy or even some woman these days we see a lot of wants to hang out and take a special interest in your kid when they're young, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. I'm telling you, take it from a criminal defense attorney. These guys prey on weakness. They look for people that are going through troubled times, that are insecure. I'm telling you, be careful. Be careful. Next, a murder for hire plot that turned out, well, like they all do. But we may do a separate video on this because it's such a good read. Okay? The affidavit is hilarious because it's so bad. So a woman whose love interest married someone else allegedly paid to have his new wife killed, because that's reasonable, right? Anyway, federal prosecutors in Tennessee have charged 47-year-old Melody Sasser with one count of murder in connection for the hire for murder plot. Police allege that Ms. Sasser paid $10,000 in Bitcoin to hire a hitman to kill Jennifer Wallace, the new wife of a man that she had met on a dating website. So back in April, a foreign law enforcement agency notified the Department of Homeland Security of this assassination plot, which ultimately led to the criminal charges. Now, investigators say a user with the account name Cat Tree paid the website administrator, Online Killers Marketplace, we've talked about them before, $9,750 for the hit, and provided very specific information about Wallace's life. Now, the hitman website is defunct, and it was a scam, and obviously didn't actually carry out the assassination plots. Now, the user provided Wallace's full name and address for her residence in Prattville, Alabama, along with information like the vehicle she and her husband drive, Subaru, and the description of all their dogs. Although they're a little, they like to jump up, they're good dogs. Well, she recently moved there with her new husband, and she works at home and in an office in Birmingham. Yes, the affidavit goes into the emails to the alleged hitman. The affidavit is, like I said, it's very interesting. We're going to do a separate show on this. And everything you should not do when you are the jilted lover. A little bit of stalking, a plot to kill somebody. Like I said, all reasonable things to do when the relationship ends, right? No, that's not reasonable. It's not healthy. Move along, okay? There's other fish in the sea, so to speak. And then finally today, our dumb criminal of the day. Take a look at this guy. Now, we've talked about identity. He maybe watched CrimeTalk here to learn that identity is one of the most important things that you have to prove at trial. So what did he try to do? That's right. He tried to hide his identity when he was committing this crime with an oversized cardboard box while he burglarized his store and tried to steal some cash and some cell phones. It all started early Saturday morning around 4 a.m. Surveillance video captured the moment that the box-wearing bandit used a hard object to smash a glass display case after allegedly breaking into the Miami Gardens phone repair shop. Now you can see the man scooping up piles of iPhones and shoving them into a bag over his shoulder. Could have been the perfect crime, except the box decided to, that's right, lift off his head for just a moment, and they were able to capture his image right there to reveal who in fact he was. Well, the not-so-smart thief fled with 19 iPhones and $8,000 in cash, but he didn't get very far because the man who owned the store went searching for him. And where did they find him? That's right, at a liquor store, boozing it up with buddies at a liquor store nearby. Now, police from the Miami Gardens Police Department obviously arrested this knucklehead as well as he should have been. They haven't released his name yet, but hey, take a look at his photo. He's our dumb criminal of the day. Now, whoever this guy is, he's probably learned a valuable lesson for the next time. He understands the whole identity thing. Put a box over your head. Next time, maybe try a ski mask, a paper bag, anything but a box. That's right. You are felony stupid. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time on Crime Talk.